exciting tradition, Insights into Female Genital Mutilation, narrated by Meryl Streep. I am the producer and director, co-director with John Howarth, and the film was commissioned by the International Federation of Obstetrics and Gynecology, FIGO. And the synopsis is it's looking at the cultural tradition around female genital mutilation and the fact that it continues to exist in many countries of the world, 28 and plus a few others, is the fact that you're talking marriageability, fidelity, chastity, all of these aspects continue to promote FGM.
Now, how did you first come to see this as an issue and something that you could make a film about or needed to make a film about?
I run something called Safe Hands for Mothers, a charity, and we make films. And we make films about important issues like FGM, like child marriage, obstetric fistula. So having made films about child marriage and obstetric fistula, it seemed to me that FGM was one more film in that genre, and a very important one because it is such a taboo subject. So to make a film and try and make it non-judgmental, for me was the target, was the task at hand.
Now, how did you go about trying to be objective with such a strong subject matter?
Well, I think you have to, in our case, we let the people speak for themselves, and in so doing, it highlighted just how complex this subject is. You have members of the church, members of the highest order of Muslim, the Mufti, who would say that this is not acceptable. Nowhere does it exist, either in the Bible or in the Quran. And yet, people living in very remote communities are still practicing it and allowing it to happen. So how could I be objective? I think I have a strong bias, obviously, as to whether it's right or wrong, but it's more important to show through the voices of those talking just how complex it is, and that tradition is much stronger than education and holds much more power within a community. And I think that was the message that we were trying to bring out in this film.
Now then, if it's such a taboo subject, how were you received and how did you integrate yourselves into the community to get people to talk with you openly and honestly?
Good question. I've always used the, I suppose it's my modus operandi, that whoever I'm traveling with, the translator, my eyes and ears, as I like to refer to that person, if he or she is accepted in the community, then that will help us to be accepted in the community. Obviously it's difficult, you know, you go in, you're not just yourself. I'm tall, I'm blonde, I've got cameras, I've got a cameraman, you know, you are a target. So it's very important to be sensitive to the situation you're going into and not to go in expecting that you're going to get the footage. You kind of go in, you ease yourself into that situation. But as I say, the person who is our facilitator becomes critical in this.
What do you think that people who have seen the film or become aware of the issue, what can they do on a personal level to help raise awareness?
I think one of the ways is you talk about it. You know? You talk about it to your friends. You say, I just saw this most amazing film. We have to screen it at our school, our community center, our church, you know, wherever it is, you can get it out there. But I think people who really feel strongly in a political way, you can advocate for change. You write that letter to your local MP and you talk about the fact that 24,000 girls are at risk of 15 and under in this country alone of having it done. Many people have said, in spite of the fact that we now have a law that can prosecute, not one prosecution has ever happened here in the UK yet. So, you know, there is certainly room for change, and I think there are excellent groups doing something in this country, like Forward, and I think it's very important that you know, people look them up and find out how they, because there are ways of. Another obvious way too is, you know, putting your instead of words, doing something with your feet, or putting your hands in your pocket and investing in these organizations that are actually doing great work with local groups, or investing in films, investing in more films.
Well, thank you again so much, not just for talking with us, but for everything that you're doing.
Well, thank you. It's a real pleasure, and as I say, I'm absolutely honored too that the cutting tradition has been accepted here at the Raindance Film Festival. On behalf of John Howarth, my co-director, and myself, thank you.
Thank you.